Hello everyone, I'm Gio. I hope everyone's having the best blessed day possible today. Today is Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. So please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Please like, comment, share. Make sure you hit the notification bell if you like the content so you guys can hear more content. So basically back in April 7th, 2023, I went to jail, right? And at that time that I went to jail, I was pretty lost, my life was all over the place. I just went to rehab, I got released, and then I relapsed, and now I'm arrested going to jail. So whereas my life should be very, very kind of hopeless at this moment, I don't have anything. I have a duffel bag full of possessions. I don't have much to my name. I don't know what's going to happen at this point. I don't know how long I'm going to be in jail. I have 6 open cases at this time. But amazingly, for whatever reason, I know the reason, but God spoke to me. When I was waiting to go in front of the judge in Herkimer jail, I was in Herkimer police station. I'm waiting to go in front of the judge virtually. It's about 2 a.m. in the morning, and I heard the voice of God. And God told me to continue down the path I was on, and that he was proud of me, and that everything would be provided for me as long as basically I did what I was supposed to do, And at that time, he kind of lifted my compulsion for substances. He lifted my compulsion to use drugs. And since then, I've been completely... I've been perfect, in my adherence to that. I haven't used anything. I haven't drinking alcohol. I haven't done anything since then. And when I went to jail, so now I went to jail, and I'm full of hope because I heard the voice of God. I heard the audible voice of God. And I went to jail. I'm full of hope, whereas, everything should be hopeless, but instead I'm full of hope. So on the 3rd day that I was in jail, I got a Bible finally handed to me, and I started reading the Bible. I'd never read the Bible before this point, but I started reading the Bible, and they had a reading plan, read the Bible in a year. You read a little bit each day. So I followed that reading plan, but I read through it, many more days. I would try to read 5 to 10 days worth of the Bible, in one day is what I would do. And I read through the entire Bible in 83 days. So the amazing part was on the 83 day, well, it was actually probably 80 days because I didn't get the Bible for the first 3 days, and I was in jail for 83 days. But on that last day, I went to court, and right before I went to court, probably 15 minutes before I went to court, I completed the Bible. I finished reading Revelations, the last chapter of Revelations, and I go to court, and then I got released, and it was kind of fluky that I got released because I had actually accepted treatment court out of Little Falls Court, but because now I was in Herkimer Court on my case in Herkimer Court, and they released me on it. Now the treatment court, generally you sit in jail and you wait until you start treatment court, but because I was released from Herkimer, Little Falls for some reason only had a $10 bail on me, because when I first went to jail they set the bail out of Herkimer, and Little Falls only had like a $10 bail, so I actually bailed myself out. But so I was kind of released, when I really wasn't supposed to be. So it was kind of like, I felt like because I completed the Bible and I completed what I was supposed to do, now I got released. So it was pretty neat that happened like that. But when I was in jail, while I was reading the Bible, I actually went through and I wrote down all my favorite Bible verses. So I hadn't looked at this until today, and there's 23 verses on here that I wrote. So I'm not sure why I picked these 23 verses or anything, but I noticed on here, one of the ones that I wrote the most was Colossians. So I was going to just start there. And there was 4 of them, 4 that I picked from Colossians that were my favorite out of the 23 from the entire Bible. 4 of my favorite ones came from Colossians. So I was going to start with them. I was going to read each of those, and then I was going to discuss them, why maybe I chose them to be my favorite, and kind of see, I haven't read them back. I did read the first one, but I haven't read them past that. So I'm not even sure what these say or anything, but we'll kind of discuss them as we go. So the first one that I have on here is Colossians 3, 8 through 10. So if I go to Colossians 3, I'm in my Bible, my Help Finder Bible, God's Word at Your Point of Need. It came from a close friend of mine, Sue, who gave me this Bible. It was amazing that she gave it to me. I was so grateful that she did that, thought of me at the time that she did and gave it to me. It was a book that meant a lot to her, so she wanted to share it with me, and she bought it for me, and I'm eternally grateful. So thank you, Sue, so much for that. I'm putting it to great use. Okay, so Colossians 8. Colossians 3, start with 8, okay? But now is the time to get rid of anger, rage, malicious behavior, slander, and dirty language. Don't lie to each other, for you have stripped off your old sinful nature and all its wicked deeds. Put on your new nature and be renewed as you learn to know your Creator and become like Him. Okay, so I can definitely understand why I would have picked this one, right? Because this kind of applies to me, right? But now is the time to get rid of anger, rage, malicious behavior, slander, and dirty language. So while I was in jail, I made the decision to not curse any longer, that I was going to stop swearing. And also just, for me, always, anger, rage, malicious behavior, my drug use, everything that went along with the drug use, so I could understand why I would pick that. So now was the time for me, to get rid of these things, to stop doing those things. And then don't lie to each other. I've always been a pretty honest person. I'm not, I can't lie. There are times in my life, obviously, that, where lying had to occur, whether it was the cops or whatever it may have been. But since quite a ways back, probably back in 2012, I had an instance where I kind of woke up to the fact that I was lying to everyone about everything, and that my life really didn't count for anything because, everyone who can believe a word you say if you lie all the time, so then you're just speaking to people and they have no, you're just speaking just to speak, and it means nothing, to someone. Like if I'm speaking to someone and I know that they lie about everything that they talk about, then what's the point in even speaking to them? Because all you're doing is just entertaining their lies, and if you know that they're lying, you're just entertaining that and making it that's an okay to live, okay way to live. Like why don't you want your word to mean anything, so I changed that. Like I said, back in 2012, I considered being honest and having my word count for something. I really, really tried to make that be a focal point of my life. So already prior to this, I had done that, but especially now, I can't tell a lie. I know that God will see me if I tell a lie. That's one of the biggest things, is, not what you do in front of everyone else, but what you do just in front of God, because God sees everything. So any lie I would tell, wouldn't be okay. So, and I wouldn't be okay with doing it. So I make sure that I'm honest about everything at all times. Not that it always works out to my favor being honest like that, but for the most part, it's just a better way to live. And I really do want my word to count for something. When I speak, I want it to mean something, above all else. So I can understand why I would say that. And then put on your new nature and be renewed as you learn to know your Creator and become like Him. So, at this point in time, I'm new. I found out I was saved, April 7th, when I heard the audible voice of God. That is at that moment I was saved, because then I started living a Christian life from that point on. I said I was going to live my life for God from that point on. And, I've done exactly that. I became a member of a church because I know that fellowship was really, really important. And I got baptized because I know that that's important, just to show your love for God and to do something that is for Him, and it's for yourself as well, but just to do that to show your respect and your love and to give Him glory, that's why you do that. So of course I want to put on my new nature, I want to be my new self at all times, which I really believe that I truly am, and I try to live this at all times now. And be renewed. I feel completely renewed. I wake up every day feeling great now, without something to make me feel that way. That's the biggest thing, is that I always, when I use substances and stuff, I use them because I thought I needed them to be better. I thought I needed them to be more likable. I thought that if I didn't have them, that I wasn't good enough to be around people, or I wasn't good enough, for a girl to like me or whatever, because I'm not, I'm not as fun or whatever. So that's why I gravitated towards them, because I knew I didn't feel like I was good enough. I wasn't confident in myself before that point. But now, because of God speaking to me and all that happening, now I have all the confidence in the world when it comes to that. So just to know your Creator, and that's what I've been trying to do. I do these Bible studies. I go to prayer group. I don't miss a church, and I listen on YouTube, all these different sermons. I listen to multiple sermons every day, just trying to learn about God, trying to learn everything I can, and any little thing I can pick up so I can become a better Christian, so I can live my life as godly as possible. I want every thought that I have, every feeling, every emotion, every single thing that I do, every action that I have, I want it to try to be as godly as possible. So that's how I live now. So that it makes a lot of sense why I would want to know my Creator so I could become like Him. It actually really, really fits, and I understand why I would pick that verse, and that's awesome that I did. The next one that I have that I picked is Colossians 3:12 through 14. Okay, so Colossians 3:12. Since God chose you to be the holy people He loves, you must clothe yourselves with tender-hearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Make allowance for each other's faults and forgive everyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, so at this point in time, you got to understand, I heard the audible voice of God. God spoke to me, so I knew that God chose me to be the holy people, to be a holy person. I know that He chose me. He spoke directly to me. He took the time out to speak directly to me. So I knew for a fact that I was chosen to be holy. So that would make sense that I know that God chose me to be holy. And I know that I need to have tender-hearted mercy for myself. I've had a lot of wrongs in my life. I've done a lot of criminal acts. I've never ever did something, with the thought of hurting someone else. That's one thing that I've never done. I've never went out and beat someone up because I was mad at them, or I've never tried to hurt someone, deliberately try to hurt people, but I need to clothe myself with tender-hearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. So I know that I'm not perfect, and I know that all the mistakes I've made, with my family, with my children, I need to forgive myself. I can't stay held up on them, like as guilty as I feel, as much as I wish I had all that time back with them, as much as I wish I could do it all over again, I can't, you know what I mean? I can't change the way that life has played out to this point in time. I cannot change that. All I can do is change who I am going forward. I can be the best version of myself going forward, and I can try to act in a way that would be according to, God's will for my life, from this point forward. I didn't know God's will for my life prior to this, but now that I do know, now if I acted out, now if I did something, if I went to a store and stole something, if I, lied, or if I just deceived in any way, or if I just was to do any of the things that I've done before in my past, now it definitely wouldn't be acceptable, like so much more above and beyond than before. But it's just saying that I can forgive myself for the things that have happened before, and also make allowance for each other's faults. So as much as I'm not perfect, I know that no one else is perfect either, so anything that someone does, anything that someone says, and anything, like I need to forgive them for it. I need to understand that nobody is perfect, and I need to understand that everyone's just trying to get through their lives. You know what I mean? Everyone's trying to do the best that they can. Not everyone's necessarily trying to do the best that they can, but they are to their ability. You know what I mean? Not everyone has a different, levels of abilities as far as forgiveness, as far as tenderness, as far as humility. All these things, are different levels for every different person. Everyone's battling their own demons. Everyone has, whatever that they have that is driving them, that is bothering them, that's holding them down. People have those things wrong with them. So the one thing that I do take solace in is if someone is just rotten, like wretched, like person, you know what I mean, and just talks bad to me or puts me down in any way, like and it's not deserving, you know what I mean? If I didn't do anything to deserve this, the way that they're acting towards me or whatever, which I never would do anything, but I would just keep in my head that I couldn't imagine being them and to say these things to someone else. You know what I mean? What has to be going on in their head that they feel like that they can talk like this to someone and that they can feel good about it? You know what I mean? That they can go to sleep at night feeling good about this. It can't be fun to be in that person's head. It really, really can't be. So, and anything that anyone does that isn't appropriate, that isn't nice or whatever, I always kind of consider that, and that they're going through their struggles and everything too. So I understand why I would pick that verse as well. Okay, the next one I have on here is Colossians 4:2. Devote yourselves to prayer with an alert mind and a thankful heart. Okay, so before when I went to rehab, I began praying. Okay, before that, any prayers that I had, they were what you would call like a shotgun prayer. I get arrested and go to jail and tell God, if you can allow me to get out of jail, when I go to court, please, I'll live this great life and I'll do this great. And then I would never even do it. You know what I mean? Like, even if I did end up getting released, I still didn't do it. It might stay in my head a little bit, but those are called shotgun prayers. Where you pray for the moment. You know what I mean? You're not, but prayer is supposed to be over a great long period of time. You're supposed to do it at all times. You know what I mean? All throughout the day, multiple times a day, you're supposed to pray. You're supposed to carry on conversation with our God, with our Creator. And that's what He likes, and that's what He answers, and that's what He appreciates. I mean, He might answer those prayers in the moment, but they're not necessarily going to get you anywhere. Because you're probably not going to live up to. Prayers should never be bargaining. Like, you do this, I'll do this. That shouldn't be the way that a prayer works. You should just be praying for other people, which is something which I do often. You know what I mean? There's not too many prayers that I necessarily pray for myself. I did have a little instance at treatment court where I was possibly going to be in trouble because I went to Niagara Falls and I didn't ask permission first. I didn't realize I didn't have to ask permission. I didn't realize I had to ask permission. It kind of came about rather quickly, where we got a car and everything. My girlfriend got her license in the mail and we rented a car. We went. And but I didn't know I had to ask permission. So when they said to me, why did you do all this traveling without permission? I had to say, I'm really sorry, I didn't know, and next time I'll ask permission. My probation officer said, we would have let you go, but you have to ask. So I didn't know necessarily if I was going to get in trouble or not, but so I did pray, that God would please protect me when I went to treatment court. So hopefully I wouldn't get in trouble, and just be with me. But whatever the outcome is that He desires, I will abide by it, and I will understand it, and I will adhere to it, and I won't put up a fuss. That's kind of how prayer goes. But so I guess at this moment I realized that I needed to really devote myself to prayer, and that with an alert mind and a thankful heart. Like, I'm so thankful to be alive. Like, God really has, like, I've overdosed multiple times, 5 or 6 times. I don't know. Someday I'll figure that all out and we can talk about that. But there's 5 or 6 times where I've overdosed, and like the situations behind these, like, it's really, really lucky that I'm sitting here and that I am alive, and especially that I'm fairly healthy, and I have everything kind of going for me now at this point in time. Like, it's quite amazing, and the fact that I don't have any felonies on my record, and with everything that I've done, as far as different stuff, and that all the times that where I was driving and I shouldn't have been driving because I was not in a place mentally or physically where I should be driving, and God somehow protected me and kept me safe. So, and made it so I've never ever hurt someone else, while I was driving, and I've never when I used to sell substances and stuff to people, I've never given someone something that cost them their life. Like, I'm so beyond grateful for that, because I don't know that I could live with myself if that was the case. But so I guess me picking this verse right here, devote yourselves to prayer with an alert mind and a thankful heart. That's just me telling myself, that I know I need to pray, and how important it is, and how thankful that my heart is, to have the opportunity to do both things, just to be here and to be able to pray. Like, how great of an opportunity that was for me, is for me at any point in time. Okay, so the last one from Colossians that I wrote down was Colossians 4, 5, and 6. Live wisely among those who are not believers, and make the most of every opportunity. Let your conversation be gracious and attractive, so that you will have the right response for everyone. Okay, so with this one, okay, so you got to understand, at this moment that I'm picking these verses, I am in jail. I'm living in jail. I'm amongst a lot of non-believers. There was one person that was there. I became very good friends with him, Michael Andreev, and he truly changed my life. When I got to jail, he's the one that taught me how to pray. He's the one that kind of went over, we did a Bible study every morning, and he did so much for me, but the way that he interacted, I guess, with a lot of other people was I didn't feel like he was making the most of his opportunity, because he had so much knowledge and he had so much understanding of religion, of the Bible, of God, that he could be drawing other people in, where in fact I felt like he was alienating them in a way, you know. So I'm pretty sure, because on the side of this I wrote Moiki, I'm pretty sure I shared this with him at one point in time, you know, kind of like encouraging him that he could do a great service, you know, but he might be kind of like, because not everyone's like me, not everyone is wanting to learn, not everyone is willing to learn and willing to listen the way that I was, you know. So I felt like that he could be more encouraging, you know, in the way that he was talking to people and dealing with them. And I was trying to encourage him, you know, while at the same point myself, you know, because I was amongst a bunch of non-believers, whereas I'm a believer now for the first time. How can I go preaching to people, oh, you should believe in God, you should be doing this, you know, you should be praying? How can I necessarily do that, you know, when everyone knows me as someone who was a dealer, as someone who was a user, you know, as someone who was a homeless addict that was a booster from stores? You know, how can I be saying these things to people, you know? So that's what I pick up from that, is that I needed to learn how to interact, you know what I mean, with everyone and stuff. And I feel like I've grown in that, you know, tremendously now, where I feel like people now know me as this person, you know, that this is what I became. And at first, you know, it was something that, you know, was new, and people are like, you know, there's no way that he's being like this, you know. But now, after this is my 65th video that I've made on this subject, you know, on about addiction and about turning your life over to God and stuff. So now it's kind of just become normal for me, and that's what people see. As you see, I'm wearing a shirt. This is faith, you know, that this is who I am now. This is what I do now, you know, and I love it. And it's the greatest decision I've ever made. You know, it's a number one decision I've ever made. And it's changed my life tremendously. You know, I go to Bible study every week, you know, multiple ones if I'm able to. I go to my prayer group every week. You know, I've been volunteering. Like I said, I put in 37 volunteer hours before yesterday, and yesterday I put in another 6 hours. Today I'll be probably another 6 hours I'm going to put in volunteering, even though I only needed 25 to be done by next May. You know, I have them all done and then some, and I will continue to volunteer. You know, next week is the VBS at the New Life Church, and I'm going to be helping out there for the first 2 days, you know, because I'm off Monday and Tuesday, so I'll be there for the whole time for those days. And so just overall, like, so those are the 4 verses I just wanted to share with you guys. But as you guys see here, it's page 23 verses. So we'll get through all those as we go along. But I just wanted to share them with you guys. I love you guys very, very much. I thank you guys very, very much for supporting me, supporting this channel. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Do everything you guys can do to show me support and help me spread this channel, help me grow it, so I can become stronger in my faith, and I can help you guys become stronger in yours, and hopefully we can grow together. I love y'all. God bless. Have a blessed day. Remember, as nice as it is to be important, it is infinitely more important to be nice. I love you. God bless you.